Y'all, I'm so mad. I just had like the dopest run of making this video, and it wasn't recording because I didn't notice it wasn't recording because I had my screen tilted back. So even me, I've been filming for years and I made a mistake. Today we got a banger. I got a banger for my creators out there, talking about why your camera doesn't matter. So when I first started out with this film thing, well, actually, I wasn't even into film yet. I was shooting on my mom's BlackBerry. This is back in like 2010. I was making YouTube videos, showing people like little dumb pranks or whatever. But I wasn't even into film yet. But I used what I had to be able to shoot and do what I needed to do. So I was shooting my mom's BlackBerry up until high school. Now, when high school came around, 10th grade to 12th grade, they introduced TV broadcast. 9th grade, I was a digital design major, but they introduced the TV broadcast major at my school from 10th, and I was in there from 10th to 12th grade. And my school was sponsored by Apple. Now, since my school was sponsored by Apple, we had these iPads. And on these iPads, that is what we use to create some of our earlier short films and our projects. Learning how to do filmmaking on these iPads, and learning how to edit footage from iPad footage, basically in Final Cut Pro X. We had Final Cut Pro, so we're editing iPad footage in Final Cut Pro because our school was sponsored by Apple. But because we had these iPads, we were forced to get creative with our filmmaking. See, these iPads, they had terrible dynamic range. And because they had terrible dynamic range, which means that basically whenever we tried to set up a shot, something might be blown out. The skin might be blown out, the background might be blown out, whatever. It's looking really ugly. Now, you would probably miss that or not even notice that your image is unbalanced if you started out with like a $50,000 camera. If you started like a $50,000 camera, or just like a super expensive camera in general, when you're first starting out, you're going to miss out on so many different fundamental lessons, like how to get a shadow off the wall, or just like little small things. You're going to miss these fundamentals, and these fundamentals are what really help build your assets as a filmmaker. So yeah, so we were shooting on these iPads originally up until 10th grade. So once 10th grade came around, we got the Blackmagic Pocket camera. Now I'm talking about the original Blackmagic Pocket camera, not the dope 4K or 6K one that's out now, but I'm talking about the original one. So I was shooting on iPads for a minute in high school up until we got the cameras to actually start shooting stuff, and even then we still had to get creative and learn from learn these different lighting setups. So yeah, that's why I tell people, like, just start with what you have. Even phones nowadays, they are pretty decent. They're way better than like 4 or 5 years ago. Nowadays you can just shoot with whatever. So if you're just starting out, it really does not matter what you're shooting on, honestly. I know you want the beautiful Hollywood image, but to get the beautiful Hollywood image, you need to learn them fundamentals. Get your fundamentals down pat, and you need to practice them. And it's one thing from reading how to make a movie and watching a whole bunch of YouTube tutorials on how to make a movie, but you need to apply that knowledge. And once you apply that knowledge, then you'll really see where you stand as far as your abilities. So just shoot on whatever you have at the moment. If you're a new filmmaker and you're just trying to get into this thing, and just shoot what you got. Now, for my creators who've been doing this for a minute, you catch yourself on Amazon for an hour, on eBay scrolling, stimulus check just came in, you got that gear itch, you know what I'm talking about, that gear itch, and you want to upgrade your gear, and you just feel as though it's not doing you justice no more. You want to get better. Just think about these things before you actually pull the trigger on those decisions. Why are you upgrading your gear? Will this gear help push my story forward? And do I really need it? So just think about that for my creators who kind of are in the game and they're intermediate and you just got that gear itch. Just think about those questions before you actually make that purchase. I've been wanting to upgrade my gear for a minute now. I had the opportunity to buy a Blackmagic before, but it just didn't make sense because at the time and this I'm talking about a Blackmagic 4.6K. At the time, it didn't make sense for me to buy a Blackmagic 4.6K because I didn't have any clients that required me to deliver anything in 4K, honestly, or especially 4.6K. I wasn't even producing any of my own content that heavy in subject matter, or that was that deep of a production. Anything that we've done in the past, it didn't really need a lot of camera power. But now it's time. It's time for us to upgrade the camera for our production company, and we put in the hours. We've made our mistakes. We learned from our trials and tribulations, and now we're trying to move on to bigger and better things and bigger projects when we'll be taken more seriously. We just need more camera power now. It makes sense because of the clients that we have coming in now. So for my animated filmmakers, just think before you upgrade. Think about what is the purpose of upgrading, and also think about how the camera will push your story forward. If the camera won't push your story forward or won't make your production easier as an intermediate filmmaker, you probably don't necessarily need to upgrade your camera just yet. So just think about how that gear will actually add value to your productions. Will it actually make your storytelling better? So just think about that before you buy new gear. Buy gear with purpose. Your camera doesn't matter. You just need to probably sharpen your skill set a little bit more and focus in on certain areas. Some areas that I really suggest that you pay attention to are lighting, composition, and storytelling. So focus on those things moving forward. So that's pretty much it, guys. My name is Nazir Alston, filmmaker, entrepreneur. Follow me on Instagram at Nazir Creator, and I'm out. Deuces.